Willie, I'm going to send all the documents and the videos to you shortly. I've been talking to Bundy and Manahi, okay? And they're alright about it, and so tell me, just putting the bits of land on the writ warrant, what is the area of the land that you was telling me you wanted back? Oh, I see. No, it doesn't matter. You can always worry about that later. But I'm just putting the land blocks that we're going to go straight into first from that hui up there you're having. Yeah, so we can go straight into that after we go to Cook Street and get that one, and then I'll start on the other ones. But if your one is not ready, that's okay. Because that's all I was ringing about, just to let you know that you can expect the things in the mail. Yeah, I'll be there. It starts Friday or Saturday? Friday. It starts Friday. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be going up on. I'll be there in the morning, early. What time does it start? 5 in the afternoon. Oh, okay, that's good. That's going to give us time to get there. So I'll get these documents to you because the other ones have got them, and that'll go with what you want to do with whatever there. Okay? Okay then. It'll be this afternoon. All right. See you Friday. Okay. Bye. Yeah, that's Willie Peita, up in Pangaru. At Waimana Marae, that's his marae in Pangaru on the other side of Hokianga. That's the area of Clendon. Sold the lands up there, so we're putting that Clendon title in, the Hokianga land blocks that he sold in 1830, right up to 1838. He sold lands in Okiato and Kororareka. So we're joining those titles all up to the Auckland Province title, to the Tiki Tiki East Cape titles, and Manahi will handle that, Willie, on this video. We're citing these videos as evidence and fact for the court hearing that we'll be holding on the 20th at the marae up there. So it'll be dated and stamped and everything, just needs signing, and then enforced from there, and then it can go into the authorities. Bundy knows what to do, he knows how to do his job, Kingi knows his job, and well and truly up to how it works, how this operation, our main target area of this hui will be to raise the flag up on the British Admiralty ship of King William IV and claim the Manukau Company land title instruments in Edinburgh, Scotland. Those are the instruments that belongs to the hapu, the Moriori hapu of the Manukau chief, Mohi Te Mati Manukau, the fourth, paramount, and that word paramount is equal to a king in the British land laws of England and also in the language of English. Paramount is king. So we are equal in that sense with King William IV as a surrogate. I'm surrogate as my position of the Maui Powerhouse Bank and the Maui Crown that's heading off with this flag as our own sovereign crown of Tahitian origins of Raiatea Island and Rapa Nui Island and the Tahitian Islands, and the Deeds of Truth title to everything we state in our documents is the truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. There's nothing outside of our oath, which is our sovereign truth of our own hapus in this King two-way contract, with King William II two-way contract. So the main topic of the hui is the flag here of jurisdiction of financial martial law as applied to these 42-page writ warrant to seize the land back and other attachments to it. It's an arrest warrant and other means of instruments that we use with this flag as a bank, trading, commercial landowner flag that we have the legal right to use right through the world with this authority from Westminster. Our partners is the Lord High of the Sea, Philip Jones, Chief of Navy, and Theresa May, Prime Minister. She'll be getting a copy of a legal document from Manahi, Parapara Mohini. He's the Justice of Peace for the Crown, and also the Magistrate Court of the King's Bench Grand Jury Trial Court, Native Court, that will be running this hui meeting for. So I'm glad I've got to talk to Willie, and he'll be expecting me on Friday. We'll be going up on Friday now. Desmond and myself, my nephew Desmond is the sheriff, taking my place as I go to Scotland, to Edinburgh, to check our titles, the Manukau company titles. I'm the administrator of that on behalf of Mohi Manukau in secrecy with the Freemasons, set aside from his family, that has no business with this private contract that I have with Mohi Manukau and myself. All that information that he has told me I have here of his Freemason Masonic Lodge for 50 years in there selling Manukau land with his uncle John Rogan in Helensville Native Court. The flag was flying there on a pole in the 10-acre block that I've got the titles here for the 10-acre block. We can re-establish that. But Mohi's wanted me to put the native parliament with the carving that you see with the four main tribes on in Cornwall Park on One Tree Hill in the reserve there. He wanted the native chiefs of the four tribes parliament there, and Ngāpuhi can have one up north if they want so, but we have a budget for there. I had that all lined up with Haere Utatonga and the Confederation at that time. I put a plan through for the development of the Waitngi marae that's still on the cards, and also here, and we have our own setup at the east coast under the Maui Crown, Te Pito, on the Haha East 47 Marangaro land blocks on our Maui land blocks. Now the titles in that Potiki Rua Ki Waipu area in Tikitiki marae, the Rahui marae, that's our own Wānoa marae, the main marae of the Hikurangi Mountain and Whakawhetira Native Court there, tied to the Okiato Native Court up north in Bay of Islands, Russell, and tied to the Native Court in Helensville, the Manukau, and Rogan, Judge Rogan Magistrate Court. Right, so that's that court, the Whakawhetira Court and the Okiato Court with the Manukau company, registered company, through Roy and Wood conveyancing lawyers in Edinburgh, Scotland, as the William Simons, Royal Navy, 23rd Regiment, Magistrate Court, Crown Title, sale and purchase agreements there. That's the Manukau, Te Waikato Wharahere Manukau title there to Rewhare for Manukau title here in Auckland Province and the native courts in Parnell area of Kohimarua, native court there from Helensville, and also Mohi Te Mati Manukau, the 4th Paramount Chief, and myself as being in partnership. We had our own partnership in secret. I'm just telling you the secret between me and Mohi Manukau of these titles that you're seeing now for the first time in the world with this flag he held as the authority in that Scottish rights title to instruments over land. Now those instruments that the Scottish put together, I'm just explaining to Bundy because he's very clever on what I say, and that's his job to look after all the land titles and with Manahi Parapara Mohini in the courts to make them legal through the court systems from the Queen's Bench Court into the King's Bench Court to seize the titles back from the Queen into the King's Bench Court. Here in Auckland District Court, over the 77 Cook Street property will be seizing with those Paramount Chiefs and myself, Sheriff, and with Desmond as well as co-sheriff with me to pick up on it. And also, while I'm at it, the motel in Loddon Point will be seized as well. Desmond will be doing that with this hat and his uniform with the police to seize that property with the 4 chiefs authority, and also the 400 Loddon Point Road. That's 356 Loddon Point Road is the motel. That's our urupas along there, and also where the woods are. They have to get their money back from the government Bill English and you other people on that side of third party, all the taxpayers and everybody, voters for Bill English, the debtors against the Crown, my Crown, Paramount Chiefs, creditor, commercial landowners from now on. So those are those properties, and the Haho B7 block at Rangituki on Beach Road, that will be seized as well, with the Waka will be seized as well against Ngāti Pro, Runanga, and their business, corporate business, with their CEO and Selwyn Parata, and also Tiwana Tebo. He's liable for the Ngāti Whātua titles in Auckland. In the time Mohi Manukau and I were trying to get back the title off the One Tree Hill with the plaque missing. We're going to get it out now. The chiefs will get it out from Ngāpuhi. We'll get that out with the Moriori and with Bundy. So we are starting on those titles, and also the titles up in Waitngi itself that I've got here. I've got the original title with one house on in Waitngi, where the treaty grounds are, and where the Titi Marae is on the B3 block. There's one house on there, the Ututonga titles I've got here. So that's going to be fixed up on Kingi's side. That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted. He wants his land back where the ship is, and the ship of Admiralty, and his Queen Victoria Trust. That's his ancestor, Queen Victoria, and also King Edward. Those are his ancestors to that side, which will come into this Maui Crown King William Trust. From the Queen Victoria Trust, we're going to seize on that with the pound note over it as instruments, debtors against all that wealth, 970 million, trillion pound notes, right through the whole world. Will be coming through this court hearing. I'm just telling you up there. Now, New Zealand's bill to Bill English and John Key, well, just for the land, is 1,000 billion. Okay, 1,000 billion out of the 970 million, trillion. that's just for that. That's not for each person is £1 trillion. Okay, each thug, pirate that we name, there's a few names I've got there that are going through the court. And I'm telling you those names, I'll make another video with all those names on it. In fact, I should have had it here to tell you who they are, so that you can see whose names I'm calling out. I better do it now in this video while I'm thinking about it. So beware, if I call your name out, then you're liable. You've got £1 trillion on your head. I've warned them, I've warned the police, they just laughed. This is not a laughing matter anymore. It is not a laughing matter anymore. It's real now. So these are the names of the pirates and criminal thugs in the Lucifer system of Freemasonry, and also the Panama Papers fraudsters that John Key was running a scam in the banks. The banks are liable. Now these are the names. Listen to what I say, because this is for real. In that court hearing on the 19th and 20th, more so the 20th of May 2017, historically will be the jurisdiction of this flag live again from 183 years ago till that day. It's forced into law, our law, the King's Bench Native Grand Jury Trial Court, right through the well. Okay, we're starting off the whole well of the indigenous lands coming back to their original native owners. Okay, so the instruments in Scotland, all those instruments belong to the Westminster government, and we are a second party to the Westminster government and the Prime Minister Theresa May. Okay, so whoever goes into the government after the elections, whether it's one or the other party, we are bounding them to the crown, to the Maui crown. Okay, and now our partnership that is not broken. We have our own sovereignty, unbroken to King William's sovereignty, on a par, King Paramount Chief. The word paramount is in the documents of legal title. So here we go. I'll call this out. Take notice that your name and surname appears here on this notice, giving you 14 days, so it's 28 days now, to refute this affidavit, statement, video claim against you and your entire estate, land, bank accounts, businesses, property, assets, investments and inheritance wealth if you fail to counterclaim in defence of your natural man, woman, child name and surname, likeness, profession and legal corporation sole name, the same way I, John Hoani Kaki Wano, natural man, accuse you of all or any crimes one natural live man, woman, child set at the time as a criminal fraudster. If you fail to respond within this period of time, then what I disclose here about you is undisputedly a truth and shall be used against you personally, seized on all your possessions, as stated in this affidavit from this court hearing ruling in Parihaka, that was down there, District Marae Native Grand Jury Trial, King's Bench Court, and other Crown Corporation Government courts in New Zealand and Commonwealth countries under the Maui Crown King William IV 1834 trademark flag. So I'm saying that court hearing didn't happen because something made it not happen. Somebody made it not happen in Parihaka. So that court hearing is going to happen up in Waitngi, in one of those maraes, the Waitangi marae or Titi marae, one or the other. It's going to happen up there this time. Okay, so somebody's hijacked the other one. Okay, now I've got to look for these names here. Okay, the list of names posted here are who accused are criminal fraudsters on the Maui Crown lands in front of the whole world audience witnessing this King William IV Admiralty Court Martial Law Grand Jury Trial Court hearing by social media, Facebook, YouTube videos, Twitter feed, Google and Marae Native courts that are open for legal case hearings under the Maui Crown King William IV British Land Laws of England, dual government, land court business here in New Zealand, Pacific Islands and in 250 countries through the world under this 1834 Declaration of War Emergency flag. Okay, so we're treating it as a threat. These people are named now are a threat against our paramount chiefs' land they are living on and defrauding the chiefs, the rent chiefs, commercial land owners in a king's court of the king's admiralty laws set against you, named people, and against the public's interest of New Zealand's taxpayers and people, defrauding them of the land that they are occupying under lease to the king, the conqueror of these lands and all the lands in the world. The king has conquered in his name and his flag authority of admiralty, court-martial law. These names, when I call your names, you are now to appear in the court in Waitngi on the 20th of May 2017 in front of the 4 paramount chiefs and the other chiefs who are turning up to the court in a grand jury trial setting. What they say goes. Bill English, Prime Minister, John Key, ex-Prime Minister and banker, fraudster of Panama Papers, Elizabeth Windsor, or Queen Elizabeth II, treason, abandoned ship and gone into EU Parliament as a threat against Westminster by the EU Parliament, a threat against the British military there and Navy, trying to steal it for the EU Parliament, and a threat against our Queen Victoria Trust, financial investment interests. She has stolen. She is a assassin murderer. That's her, using our second party flag of admiralty jurisdiction for her fraud war business with her Rothschild family. Jerry Mataprai, the ambassador to New Zealand, living in London, Britain. Patsy Reedy, Governor General of New Zealand, carrying on our legacy of fraud, corruption, and defrauding of our land, selling to offshore companies that have a threat against our own financial investment interests. The Governor General always sells land with the consent from iwi Maori leaders who are also the Crown themselves. Everything Maori, the Governor General is selling their own interests in their paper titles, which are fraud. Helen Clark, ex-Prime Minister and the creator of the Foreshore and Seabed Act 2004, fraud. The consent was against, she ruled in favour of passing that law. Te Ururoa Flavel, Minister of the Maori Affairs, selling the Maori land. The Maori belongs to them. It's a patent word of the Crown Corporation, Queen Elizabeth. Selwyn Parata, Crown Corporation, Ngāti Pro, forged or defrauded our whakapapa on Toi Kārako, Tupuna on Mount Hikarangi, and hold him liable for all the damage to the river, Waipu River, and all the land, erosion and everything of their company, iwi changing their name. So that's him. Herewini Muturangi Te Koha, CEO of Ngāti Pro, corporate business of the Crown Corporations. Paula Bennett, Deputy Prime Minister. Simon Powers, Minister. Jerry Brownlee, Minister. John Martin, Chief of Navy, New Zealand. I've got a bone to pick with you with the flag in the treaty grounds that you have defrauded us and given that power of this flag to this government. We are linking you as accessories to the fraud of the Prime Minister, John Key, Helen Clark, and now Bill English. So we're linking you up in your legacy of continuation of fraud and corruption and deception of the law, breaking your own Crimes Act 1951 and Crimes Act, New Zealand Crimes Act 1961. Aaron Pascoe, detective for the Tuhoi raids and the 66 or 77 Cook Street property that covered up the fraud of the Doug Ricard Bell sale, and Tim Duthie. He stopped me from doing my job as a third party. He's a third party on that same Cook Street property, covered up the fraud for the landowners and their lawyers, conveyancing lawyers. No letter from the land conveyancing lawyers to me and Mohi Manukau about the sale of that land, and Bailey's selling the land when I gave them strict instructions not to sell it because the title is bad, it hasn't got the Manukau's name on it. I'm telling you about this Manukau in Britain. I'm talking about the British titles, that they failed to put the Manukau's name on it. That's what Mohi Manukau wanted, his name on that title, and they never did it. Twice they rejected my application to register an interest in 77 Cook Street, or 1/61 Cook Street, then failed to put Mohi Manukau's name on the title. It should have been there who they bought it off, Referee for Manukau. It's not on there. They've got the Ngāti Whātua names on it, and they're liable to those names of those people in the Ngāti Whātua, Tamaki, Tuaire, and the other one, Tianana. Those names are not Moriori's, Manukau's. Okay? So now we've got Natalie Flowerdew Brown, another one that came into my house and arrested me and my shirt with King William on it. So she should be hung for that, for arresting me as surrogate king, or like the captain on a ship that brought them here. And she's tried to get away with it, and they took her out, spirited her out to Solomon Islands, and she's back now, so she's going to go and lose everything. £1 trillion on each of your heads, and the government has to pick up the balance of that. So you're going to lose everything, Natalie, for what you did to me. I'm here still, and you're going down with fraud. Alright, you covered up the fraud. And silence is not going to work, ignorance is not going to work either, and neither is hiding away like you did. James Pierce Brown, the occupier of 77 Cook Street, 3 times I've given you notice in person with legal documents, and you laughed them off. This is not a laughing matter now. You'll lose all your businesses because I warned you. It doesn't matter how many years, we have the King's right of law to use the financial martial law on you with these paramount chiefs and myself as sheriff and Desmond Wano, the other sheriff. Okay, so we're getting ourselves ready with our legal team, and Manahi, Parapara, Mohini, the Parapara name, he's a Parapara with the Manukau. Those 2 names are the oldest names here from Beku, Chatham Islands. That was a country. It was a country of their own, the closest to here. So they had the right from those times to be here, and they were slaughtered, and was slaughtered. That's what Mohi Manukau told me. They were slaughtered, and their country taken over. So those titles, 2 Cook Islands titles, with the Moriori titles go together, and I'm responsible for those as a land commissioner of native lands. And so now we've got James Pierce Brown and Simon Brent Roundtree. They evaded responding to affidavits and to verbal notice from me and notarized documents failed to respond. Now if you don't turn up, if you people I'm calling your name don't turn up to the court up there, you lose by default. You're already on a default already, so it's stacking up, because I told you every day that goes past is another £1 trillion on your head. From the day I was arrested, or from the day I went into that land to seize it. With those marshals, won't be getting anything, because they went against me, and my barrister looked after them and not me. He represented them in the court and left me out. I had no court hearing for that land, and they got off. They'll have to tell me how they got off, what got them off. I'm saying I used my own authority to get them off, and I haven't used it yet. I'm going to use it on anyone that stands in the road of this authority. And so I'll be talking to the King of Hawaii, myself with these paramount chiefs, to see if he's going to come in as well under this Pacific Island agreement with us to use our flag. This flag is going to save America and natives there and natives in Canada already, for me to go there and put this flag over there. I'm using the flag as Mohi Manukau's authority to use that flag from Britain. It was live from Britain with the Manukau chiefs paramount there before the Confederation of Chiefs got it going here. It was already in action there. Now we've got Simon Brent Roundtree, Andrew MacDonald, the lawyer, and Mark Hornibrook lawyers, the conveyancing lawyers that did that Cook Street title way back in 2012 and 2008 when it first started with Doug Rickard Bell. They'll be the same lawyers that did it, conveyance lawyers that did that title, that title without a Manukau name on it. Well, these names of all these things I'm saying online, it's taken a long time to put it together, and I didn't put it together for nothing. You two lawyers, you knew at the time that the land was being sold through Bailey's Real Estate, that it was a bad title, and you shoved it aside. Okay, now we've got Doug Rickard Bell, the first owner that was on that land block. He came from Sydney, Australia, and started developing with Hornibrook, with Doug Rickard Bell, was with Jamie Peters in the Whangaproa Harbour, Gulf Harbour properties, and Jamie Peters got in trouble, and Doug Rickard Bell came and got a cheap property for 38 million, and now they couldn't even sell it to anybody of the Chinese and everybody. I told them, don't buy it. I did go to the auction and said, don't buy it. And in the end, a Kiwi bought it to keep it away from getting in trouble with me and Mohi Manukau. So now these New Zealand owners are in trouble, and with me and the Manukau title. So there's no Manukau's talking for the Manukau family in these titles, because they are Freemason titles and nobody's business. This flag makes it private business and nobody's business but contractors. I'm contracting to Mohi Manukau and contracting to the Manukau company in Scotland at that time that I'm bringing up and auditing the accounts, these four paramount chiefs behind me. Okay, that's pretty strong stuff. And now we've got, just to finish off, Ray White for selling the motel in Lotton Point, or any other real estate company attached to them that sold it to those new landowners that I've named there. I've put them on the latest one, Leslie or something, Leslie. Now I've got to say their names properly. These are the ones, these two at Lotton Point Motel. Gary and Marija Daziel, you are now in this court hearing up north, because it's linked in the same fraud as accessories to the last owners, Clausen, and they were in trouble with selling it when we had interest on that land, and warned them to go back and get their money from the Crown because of the bad title there on a urupa, on a burial ground of my ancestor, there right there, of Desmond's ancestor as well, Tanga Wanoa. Okay, we have 15 marae right through the Potikirua Ki Waipu area as being the most of the area under that tupunas, uetaha, to those maraes. They're all marked, I've got them all marked. The same as I've marked out all Manukau's unmarked graves all over the country. Okay, it took us over 6 years to do that. And now we've got Ray White, and we've got David Bailey for selling Cook Street, and John Bailey. I was at the auction. I handed to you the book, the title, that I had a title over the property, and I gave it to you, to Seizure, and you went ahead with the sale. You're going to lose all your business. I warned you that I'm coming to the auction to hand it to you at the auction. And Shannon Withers, John and David Bailey, sorry, I'll just finish off with them. I'm warning you that we're going to seize all of your business in New Zealand and overseas, and goes into the Maui Crown King William Trust, and all these debtors will go into the Maui Crown King William Trust that overtakes and seizes on the Queen Victoria Trust into this flag, right through the well, to all the countries that this flag of Admiralty went to, and used those laws from Westminster to seize all those lands and all its natural resources for the Queen and the King. Okay, so that's John and David Bailey. We'll be taking over your business with this writ warrant, and these chiefs. This is our land you're defrauding for your own private business, of private investment interests, financial investment interests, and leaving our own financial investment interests out because the name Manukau is missing on your Lynn's titles of transfer. The transfer of title from what you've got from the three chiefs from Tamaki, Tuaire and Tinana is wrong. It's wrong. We're going to swear it's wrong at Waitngi, and we're going to put the Manukau title for these chiefs to seize on in Scotland. Okay, I'm going there with them to seize those titles there and put it back into Westminster. Correct it. Okay, and we'll put the flag up in Devon Port first on William Yard in Devon, England. Then we put it up on the Plymouth Courthouse, County Courthouse, with the sheriff there, and our sheriff. I'll be going there as sheriff. Put the flag up to establish the Salic law there, with this flag and our native title there, right there. And then we're going to transfer the power from there on his land into Westminster, where he's buried, King William IV I'm talking about, and establish that authority from Devon to Devon here, and Plymouth from there to Plymouth here, as your British immigrants here, and Lord Auckland on the Manukau title, hooked up to that, to Brussels, King William III's title land there, with our flag partnership right there. And that's who I'm talking for. I'm talking as a surrogate for those kings, and for St. Patrick over here on this hat as being King William III's rent chief of all the lands. The sheriff collects the royal revenue and prized possessions for the King's Bench Court. Okay, so then St. Mary's Church in Tiki Tiki is the papal bull title of 1831, St Mary's Church there, the first Church of England to come here and use birth certificates in our time period of 1830 King William IV to 1840. All that period of time our flag was the flag of New Zealand. It still is the flag of New Zealand, and it will be the flag of the world. Okay, it will be the flag of the world, the four corners of the world, with this 8-point star on my hat. And it's my authority to wear it, with King William's seal here, fourth, and his Admiralty ship behind his horse, and his 8-point star of St Patrick, and the eight points, one for King William on his crown on the top, and 7 points for 7 countries in the Pacific Islands. That's the other interpretation of this 8-point star flag here. And 4 corners of the world, Ngā Hau e Whā, Ngā Atua e Wā Aotea, New Zealand. The main part of the business of King William IV is here. We are the administrators. I am the administrator for Mohi Te Mati Manukau, Paramount Chief, and his inheritance to his part in the Freemasons, or the Scottish Rite title, to all those land instruments, titles, that he used for his land here in this country to make the blueprint for the rest of all the native countries in the world. We're citing that on this video today, being Sunday the 14th of May 2017, taking that to Waitngi to swear in front of all those Paramount Chiefs and the rest of the Hapu whānau turning up to witness this milestone event and historic event at that. 183 years to March the 20th, 1834 to March the 20th, 2017. Exactly 183 years and 2 months. Okay, I don't want to go down to the minute, but I'm making a statement here on this as deeds of truth, not deeds of myths. That's Maoris, and the Freemasons are deeds of myths and collection of information to better man, the man they are, better them in anything they do. Fraud, it allows them to do anything they want to better themselves at doing fraud, corruption, deception, and stealing land. Okay, so to you all, that's the last one of all is Shannon Withers, my barrister that represented me in the court hearing for Cook Street, and he did not listen to me. I gave him strict instructions that I wanted my birth certificate investigated and brought up at that court hearing as stealing my identity and money out of my account and locked me up, unlawfully locked me up and swept it out like that. No, I'm taking you into court here, Shannon Withers, because I did a lot of work to put together all my evidence for you, and you've shoved them away. Even the Pope's motu proprio, you said it doesn't apply. It does apply. You have no right to use this Admiralty court-martial law in your courts, and you and your bar association is rampant with fraud and corruption and cover-ups. You covered up the fraud of those landowners and their conveyance lawyers because you know what you're doing as a barrister. I'm having you up because of your lack of performance to represent me, the commercial landowner of these lands. Shannon Withers, you didn't help me one bit. In fact, you were looking after the court and the judge and the police, cover-up, and the lawyers themselves, and all those policemen that came here to arrest me for what? What did I do wrong? You see, I was taking my land back. I'm going to take that land back because you're frauding it. You're defrauding me. My rights to these lands are not yours. You have no proof that you own it. none of you have any substance fact that you have something better than what I've got in a Manukau title in Britain, online, looking at you. Now, you don't turn up on this video, you don't turn up, someone tells you, it's not for me to go looking for you. Everybody knows you had plenty of time. It's always been on Facebook and videos all these years, all this time since 2012, 4 years. You'll be warned that I want my court hearing. I never got. Because at the last minute you said my court hearing's put off till Monday, and I went there anyway. And those boys walked out and says, we're off. And I says, oh, that's you fellas. And they said to me, oh, it's just you now, you're the one that caused the trouble, it's you now. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget what those marshals, those Maori UN marshals said to me. Oh, you're the only one left now to go to court. You see, because I set my own court hearing up there to shut them down. I set it up to shut them down, but they didn't want me to step in there. I'm just telling you people in front of the world that I was going into that court to shut him down, and that's what he did to me. He shut me out. That's the opposite, you see. They don't have truth in their deeds of Freemasons who write up the laws and all the documents for the Crown Corporation, instruments to make money. They made money out of my birth certificate. I was saying to my barrister, I spent a long time to him saying, who is the other person acting in my shoes, as if they're me, with this name in capitals, Hawani Wanoa and Mr. Wanoa and John, lowercase, Wanoa bigger, uppercase. Who are those people? I want them in the court. Well, he just didn't do it, you see. That was that one. And the other one was, I said to him, you got no queen above the judge's head, so that's nothing. He didn't put that one across for me. See? I says, oh, you've got no jurisdiction over what I've got and this flag. Where's your jurisdiction? No answer, just silence and ignorance. The ignorance and the silence of anyone in front of a Moai grand jury court trial hearing has no way of refuting what I say because of a secret. The Freemasons are secret. Their members have to keep a secret. They'll have to go and dig Mohi Manukau up because he told me his dirty little secret. And I'm telling you that dirty little secret here, right in front of the whole world, to get it out of my head. Because his secret is locked in my head all this time, all this period of time, since I've known him before 2000 and 2004 Foreshore and Seabed Day. I was there with him on the Mariahs, and I went to Parliament for my own hearing for the Foreshore and Seabed Act with Helen Clark. I got a bone to pick with her too. You see? I got a bone to pick with Rothschild Banks with the pound note. I'm going to bankrupt him with the pound note. He's the other one with the Queen and her family, the Queen Victoria family, that are screwing all the countries with this flag. See? So he's the other one that I haven't added, but I'm just saying his name now. He's going to get around to that yet. Okay, so the Freemasons really are hiding all of their fraud with Donald Trump. He's going to try and get the gold from the Philippines. I'm saying to Rodriguez Duterte, President of Philippines, Mr. Duterte, President, come and see me, because that gold that you got buried under your land belongs to these paramount chiefs and me, and the Manukau paramount chief who I'm standing in for, and King William IV and King William III who I'm standing in for, that made those laws to get that act of Admiralty to seize all the gold and put it over there. You'll have to tell me where you got your authority to stack all that gold up. For who? that belongs to our Queen Victoria Trust, and we're still beneficiaries of it today. We are still beneficiaries of that trust. It went from here in the Akaroa Bank, that was our Awaroa Bank, or Aotearoa Bank, Akaroa Bank. Then it went into the BNZ Bank, and then into the Legal Nations. And it went from there into the United Nations. Then went from the United Nations to the World Bank, and that's where it is right now. And that's where the 970 million trillion pound note that Karen Hoodis and all her figures put together, I've made all that figure. I've got 970 million trillion pound note from that, plus all the other claims outside of that, from all the other businesses that these crown corporations and Rothschilds have made more money than that. What she's quoted in the World Bank of the amount that they amassed. All their money for the wars have come out of this flag. That's what I'm saying. So I think that's enough for this. I've warned them on how many days they've got. The writ warrant, I've got there the page, the second page. I've put a writ UK law number 66, writ of possession. I'm using the land laws of England. I'm using King William III's laws from 1650 to 1702, and I'm using the laws of King William IV from 1830 to 1837. Those laws raw in its state of unchanged. So I'm using clean law that's been not corrupted from that period of time on these documents in Plymouth County Court of Admiralty Court Martial Law. I'm operating from that court and this native court up here in Waitngi to the native court we're setting up in Plymouth, Devon, England. Okay, we're setting that up. That's my next stage. I've gone through this process here and set it up in Mokiato to Waitngi Marae with Kingi Taurua and Jim Wikotu from Mokiato to Kingi Taurua on Waitngi Marae with Willie Peita and Hohepa Epiha. I must put his name in there too because he's party to proceedings of how we did it. He turned up. That's what I'm saying. He turned up. So he's got his just dues with Willie. Even though I haven't got them on the grand jury, they are part of the process of supporting me at his marae, Ngāti Kura marae in Matauri Bay. So, good one to you, Hohepa, although I was a bit hard on you, but that's the way it is. Just forgive and forget and get on with it. We're getting there. We're getting there from what you're saying in Hokianga. You put a lot of work into it and put those taumata Kaumatua together. Appreciate that. That's leading up to Willie and looking after what's there now to get your land back. I'm there to get your land back. And you are the custodians, guardians and the kaitiaki of those lands and all the rest of the lands in this country. And the Pacific for that matter. Sharing all together. Okay? So I'll be the judge of what gets dished out in the pound note and the levies on the creditor, the debtors, from yourselves being the commercial landowner.